continue from the previous video, okay, because it got disconnected. So, I am just starting from there. So, what we are discussing? We are discussing about the cache. So, what is the cache we are discussing about? Like if you want to run the report, same report again and again, okay. So, let us take I will be explaining again, then I will just close the new report, done. Okay. Let us take I will run the report. The report pulls data from some database. Report pulls some data. For running the report is nothing but you are going to get the data from some database, and that data you are going to display in the report, right. So, let us take I will be running the report from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily, every half an hour in the 30 minutes interval. Okay, 30 minutes interval I will run the reports from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Okay, done. After that, so during this time I will get the data from the database and I will run the report. Let us say that whatever the data you are getting from the database, it will be same throughout the day. It is only going to change when you run at 8 a.m. Suppose you run at the report at 8 a.m. you will get the same data, and if you run the report at 8 p.m. also you will get the same data on the same day. When you run in the next day at 8 a.m. then you will get the different data. Okay, that is a scenario. So, then what you want to do in that case, let us take whenever you run the report, it takes 10 minutes time. So, if you run the report at 8 a.m. it takes 10 minutes time. If you run the report at 8:30 a.m. again it takes 10 minutes time, and if you run the report at 8 p.m. also it takes 10 minutes time to pull the data into the report. But even though whenever you run the report, if you are running the report in a 30 minutes interval, right. So, in all that periods you will be getting the same data, but for each time you are wasting 10 minutes to get the data from the report. That is the thing you are be doing. So, in this scenario what you can do, you can create a cache on the report saying that create a cache at 8 a.m. and keep the expiration of cache for 1 day. So, what happens, since you are running the report at 8 a.m. right. So, what happens, it takes 10 minutes and you will get the output, and at the same time what it is going to do is that it is going to, whatever the output you got, that output it is going to cache. It is going to cache that output, that is it. So, again when you run the report at 8:30 a.m. instead of getting data from the database, what this report does, it directly gets the data from the cache, because that cache has already it already has the output, right. So, it directly gets the output. So, instead of taking 10 minutes, it may take only 1 minute to 1 minute or even 5 seconds to pull the data. So, where is 10 minutes and where is 5 seconds, right. Okay. This is the way you will use the cache. So, if you run at 8 p.m. also, it will just use the cache and it will get that output from the cache and it will display in the report, that is it. And the next day when you run the report, because we have given the expiration for cache as 1 day, or we have created the report cache to run every day morning. So, next day when you run the report, automatically a cache will be first time when you run it will take 10 minutes and that output will be stored in the cache. So, now after that whoever runs the report, or it may be 5 minutes or it may be any time, whoever runs the report, you will, instead of getting the original data, you will just get data from the cache itself. Okay, that is the use of the cache. So, let us see here. I will go to my report server. So, already we have created the basic report size. So, I have not given any connections, that is it, just a basic report, done. So, now what I will do, click on the basic report, go to the manage. Here I will click the cache refresh options. When I click it here, I will get the new cache refresh option, refresh plan. When I click it, can create basic, because the item basic is not set up for caching. Do you not enable? Yes, I want to enable it. Okay. So, when I enable, I will get that. So, I will give the description as daily 8 a.m. done. So, here item I can schedule the cache time. I can even automate it, like I want to run this cache every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay. Yeah, I can give hourly. I can just give hourly for time being. I will give every 1 hour. Start time is 2 a.m. Every 1 hour I want to create a cache, or I can create a cache every 5 minutes. It's depend. For explanation purpose, I am giving 5 minutes. Okay, it's a 5 hours, right? 5 minutes I want, so 0.5. Okay, for explanation purpose, I am giving 5 minutes. Click OK, done. Okay, I got it. I can click OK. Automatically a cache will be created here. Okay, new cache refresh pan. This is the thing. So, I can edit it if I want, I can edit it. So, basically what happens, I'll go to the report property. It's the time at 9:34, right? I am given every 5 minutes to run the cache. So let's go and see here. Automatically a job is created for the cache. When I created a cache, automatically a job is created. See, when I right click on the job, or else when I go to the job activity monitor, when I see the job activity, what is the time I am getting here? Next run is at 9:35. The report is going to run at 9:35. Okay, let's see that. So the automatically it will run at 9:35. We'll see that. So until then, we'll go to the SSRS training. We'll run the report now. Basic. So what is the time we are getting? 34:59 p.m. Whenever it runs, I'll get the time, right? See, now I'll get 34:59 p.m. Now also I'll get 34:59 p.m. Even though I refresh it. See, how many times I refresh, I am getting that 35. See, here I am getting 35:09 p.m. See, automatically when I do refresh, it got changed to 9:35:09 p.m. Okay, I am going to get the same time up to 5 minutes. In how many times I run the report, I will be getting the same time. I think I have run a couple of times, so it is showing that issue. See, and even though I am refreshing here, when I refresh, actually what should happen? I should get the data. The time should be refreshed each and every time. So you can see in the report, when I see this basic HTML, when I preview it, see, I got the time as 94:02. When I go to the back and design, see, now I will get the time 36:03. When I will go to the design and see the preview, I should get 36:07. Design and preview, I will be getting the current time, but here the current time is not being changed. See, still it shows 35:09 because you have created a cache for every 5 minutes. So what happens? The report history is stored for that 5 minutes, and during that 5 minutes, whenever you access, it will just get the that previous report only. Like since the cache is created 9:35, right? So 9:35:09 a cache is created. So whenever you access the report, you will get the report with that time only. A new report will not be generated. And after when you go to 9:40, again a new cache will be created with the 9:40:09. So when you do that, then you will be getting the time only that time report. Are you able to get this? Because in the report I have given the time, so I will be having the same time when the report got executed. Even I refresh, the time is not changing because it is using the cache. I think we should wait for 3 minutes and then it will be done. Are you able to get this one? Hello? Hello?
Yes, Bhaskar.
Yeah. So up to 5 minutes, the data is not going to change. It is just going to get the same time because that report has the time, right? Whenever we run the report, you will get the time here. So even though I am running here and the time is not changing because it is getting the old report only. It is not getting my new time report. See. So it is going to wait until that cache time is executed. Okay. It is going to wait for the certain time. Okay. I think it got something. So after 9:40, because you can see your job. When I refresh the job, I will betting see. It is next run. It got executed 9:35 and it is going to run at 9:40. See. After running at 9:40, then the time is going to change. Okay, we can wait for 2 minutes and we can see. So basically, you will be using the cache when you find that report takes more time and the same report is going to run by multiple users again and again same day. And during that time, if the data does not change, then what you can just create a cache and you can ask them to just because when you create a cache, the report is not going to run, it is not going to get the data from the database again and again. First time when you run, automatically the report will execute, that output is stored in the cache, and after that whenever you run the report, it will get the data from the cache itself. Cache there is some temporary space. It will not get data from the report database. It will get the data from the cache only because since you had created the cache. So we will see. It's a 39, right? Okay, 1 more minute for us to see. We will wait for that. I can refresh it now. See, I am not getting anything here. When I refresh it, I will not be getting anything. See 93509. And one more thing I want to show you is that, see, when you install the SQL server on the databases, you got two databases. One is a report server and another is a report server TempDB. Okay. So, when you create a cache at the back end, that cache data is stored in the temp server DB. When you create a snapshot, because cache is going to stay for only certain period, right? Because that is why it uses a TempDB. Report server temp. This report server databases are used for the reports only. We are not going to use them. Okay. So, when you create a snapshot, that are stored under the report server. You can clear there are multiple tables which are by default, you can see the multiple tables name. Okay. It are used by the report server. Report server uses the table. So, when you create a snapshot, the snapshot will be stored under the report server, but when you create a cache, that one will be stored under the report server TempDB. Okay. Now, let us see the job. Okay, I did not refresh it, right. So, you can see last run 935 and next run is 940. Now, when I refresh it, see, last run is 940, next run is 945. Now, we will go to here and we will refresh it here now. See, automatically you got the time for 940, that is it. So, even though I refresh 10 times, it will not at all do anything until the next time. After 5 minutes, it will get that new data and it will display that new data here. Are you able to get this cache one? Hello?
Yeah, Bhaskar.
So, I will just go to the basics, click on this, click on the manage, go to the cache. Here what I am going to do, I am going to delete it, that is it. When I delete the cache, automatically job also will be created. See, the job is there right now. When I refresh it, the job will not be there. See, job gone. Okay, that is the use of the cache. You can play around with that. Okay, so we are done, and I am going to cover some of the normal topics. That is it. That is the only thing we need to worry. The temp server, report server DB. Report server will have all the snapshot will be stored in the report server. Report server TempDB will have only the cache will be stored in the report server TempDB, and we covered cache and snapshots. The difference between cache and snapshot is that cache will have only one report, because it will store only one history, but whereas snapshot, it can store n number of report histories. Okay, snapshot can store n number of report histories, but whereas a cache will store only one report history. Okay, but whereas a snapshot can store n number of history, because in the snapshot you can see it, right. You got the option here, and the snapshot data is stored in the report server database. The snapshot history is stored on the report server, whereas the cache data will be stored under the report server TempDB. Because when you install the SQL server reporting services, automatically two databases will be created on your server. By default, they are created when you install the SQL server reporting services. Okay, so this you should not do anything messy things with these databases. So the next thing, this is regarding the cache. I will just go home, or else I will click on this training. I will click on the basic. When I click, I got different things, right. Click on the manage. Just normally we do the manage. Here you can see processing options. Okay, what are the processing options? You can see many things. Do not cache temporary caches of the report. Cache a temporary copy of the report, expired copy of the report after number of minutes, 30 minutes. Okay, see, always run the report with the most recent data. So normally you can see it here. I'll just go to the SSRS training. I'll run the basics. See, I'll get the time as 8/27/2014 9:40:09, right. Done. 9:40:09. When I again run the report, still I am getting 9:40:09. I should get some new time, right. So basically, as I said, right, the reports will store the data for time being, temporary purpose, and you will get the same data again and again. Now if I refresh it, now I will get the new times here. Oh, sorry, a cache is created on the report, right. That is the thing. Still it is showing the same thing. Yeah, it is because of the cache, so it is still showing 9:40, I think. Yeah, click on this processing options, temporary copies of the report, apply. cache refresh options. Yeah, there is no cache refresh options. Okay, done. Now when I run the basics, see I got the 9:44 correct time now. See 9:44:24. See 9:44:26, 9:47:27. That's it. So when you create a cache, automatically the report a cache will be created. Okay. So in the processing option, you can change, even instead of creating a cache, you can change in the processing options also. Like get the data, but I want to cache the report for every 1 minute. Okay, everyone. This is the other way to do that. I have given that. I clicked apply, done. When I go to the SSRS training, when I do the basic, when I run the basic, see how many times I see I am running the report, refreshing here. See, still I can see the same timing 9:44:59. Okay, after 1 minute, this is going to change. This is the other way to cache. Instead of doing the cache, just you can go to the processing option and there you can do. See, even though I am doing refresh, the time is not being changed. After 1 minute, it is going to change. See, like after around like 9:55, 9:45, after at the completion of 9:45, at the end of 9:45, then this is going to change. You can see the time here. Sorry, 9:59, right? Yeah, 9:45:59 seconds. It is going to change because we had given the refresh option every 1 minute. Normally, we depends on the scenario. We will be giving that. Now you can see. So we are done, right? Now if I refresh it, at certain time it will change. See, now it got changed to see, and you are going to see the same time for 1 minute. After 1 minute, when you run, it will get the latest data. So like that, you can play around with that. So now I will go to the basic, click on this, go to the manage. I want to store, I don't want to store anything. Processing option, I will just give it do not cache it, temporary copies, apply. That's it. Automatically there you will not be caching. What is the subscriptions? Subscription is nothing but, see, currently where we are storing the report, we are storing the report on the report history folder. Okay, we are storing the report on report history folder. Let's say we want to run the report, and that report output, like we want to store the report output path on somewhere, on some other location. I want to send as an email. If I want to send as an email, I will be able to send as an email. When I click the new subscription, choose the delivery method. Yeah, I don't have the email, so just I have the Windows file share. So in order to get the email, what I need to do is that I need to set up the email settings. Currently I don't have anything. For time being, I am just giving some email dummy. I don't have this, but I am giving that by default. Test something, apply. Actually it's a wrong thing. Okay, it doesn't work, but I am giving. So when I give it this, and when I refresh, now I will get an email option here. Previously I didn't get any email option, but now I will be getting the email option here. See, I think it is refreshing. I will just go to the back. Now I will click the new subscription. Now automatically you will get the email. The server is slow. I'll just close this browser, refresh it. I'm getting the same thing. Yeah, now I am able to get it. New subscription, I got it. See, now previously I didn't get any email option, but now I am getting email option. When you set the configuration, that email, then only you will get the email option. See, when you select the Windows file share, I got the file. You can give the file name, you can give the path where you want to store, and in which format you want to give the file. If you want to send the file as a PDF, it will send as a PDF. If you want any username and password credentials, then you can give that way. Okay, and if you want to send as an email, so you will give the email here. So automatically it will ask you to which, this is to which one, to whoever user you want, you can directly give the username. By default it will say, it will give that, it will select that process. By default it will take the email server and this SMTP server name and sender address from this. By default it will take from there. Okay, you can give them, and you can, whatever the message you want, you can give. See here, which type of report format you want. If you want to send the format as report format as PDF, you can send it as PDF. automatically report will execute and that output of the report is saved into the PDF and that PDF will be emailed to the person. Okay, that is with the subscriptions. Basically normally, and one more important thing is that let us say if I have the EMP table, I have got the EMP, right. This is my EMP cannot process the report shared data, the shared data test of the report server shared point site is not valid. Yeah, SSRS training, click on this.
SharePoint?
Sorry?
Is this, I mean, it says the SharePoint site. Is this the SharePoint site?
No, it's nothing to worry. It's not something like it's C or, right. It's a report server or SharePoint site. It's a R. So it's a report server. So don't worry about the SharePoint. See, the report server cannot process the report or shared data set. The shared data source test for report server or SharePoint site is not valid. Browse the server or site and select the shared data source, because it's saying that the shared data source is not valid. Just go to the data source. This is a shared data source, right. Click on the test. I think that may be the issue. If I click the test connection, yeah, it is okay, apply. Okay, I got it here. One more thing, one more issue I might think is that because in the basic report we don't have anything. In the basic report we don't have any shared data, so that's why you didn't get any issue. So now what I will do, I will go to the EMP address, click on this, go to the manage. When I click the manage, you will have an option called data sources also. Click the data source. Now what the thing is that I will go to the reports, see the EMP address. In the EMP address, in the data source, what the data source I am using? I am using the shared data source, right. So now I need to point the shared data source here. Just click the browse, where the shared data sources are located under the SSRS training, under the data sources. This is my test database. Just select it and click OK and click apply. So automatically now you are going to point the shared data source here. When I go to this again EMP address, I did apply, right. See, now you can see SSRS training and I will click on the EMP address. See, now the report is running. Let's check. I don't know whether it's a EMP ID 1 or not. Yeah, I got the data for EMP ID, right? That's the thing. Now one more thing you need to observe. I will go to the EMP address, click on this. When I go to the manage, now if I want to create a snapshot on this, it is not going to work here, because previously on the basic when we created a snapshot it worked, right. On the basic, see, it's SSRS training, this is a basic. So when I click the basic and go to the manage, and when I clicked on the snapshot, it worked, because that basic, I'll just show you the basic report here. Is a basic report. So the basic report doesn't have any data source here. See, doesn't have any data source and data set. That's why you are able to connect it. But for the EMP address, it is having the data sources. That is also using the shared data source. So for the EMP address, when you go and try to do that snapshot, it is going to show that credentials used to run the report are stored or not stored. So the issue, that what is meant by that means, because that EMP address is using this test data source, right. It is using this test data source. So for the test data source, when you go to the security, data sources, I will click on the test data source, click on the manage. When I click the manage, I will got it here. So basically what you need to do normally is that you should always use the credentials for that. You can't directly, whenever you use whenever you create a snapshot or anything, whatever the data source it is using, okay, that data source, see, the data source is nothing but the connection, see, data source and the database name, server name and the database name, and at the same time you should also pass the user ID and password to that. That is the one more thing. So the user ID is that, I'll just copy the user ID. Okay, this is a user ID, Control C. Okay, this is other thing. Okay, click on this. Now I'll pass the user ID and password. Done. I'll pass the password. Done. Now when I click the test connectivity, oh yeah, I think it got failed. Okay, nothing to worry. Use Windows impersonate the application of the connection has been made to the data source. Okay, password is not valid. What is that? Yeah, I think, yeah, this is because there is no Kerberos setting. So just we can discuss about that later on. Okay. So I got my user ID and done. So now I will go to this one at the top. Basically, to the report server and database, we should create some Kerberos settings. So DBS, they will be doing that, nothing to worry. So now if I go to the SSRS training, click on the EMP address. When I click the manage, when I go to the snapshot history, snapshot options. Okay. Oh, I think the credentials are not stored still. Go to the data sources, click on the double click on this. I think I didn't save that. That might be the reason. Click here. Go to the test. Manage. I'll got it here. Yeah, I saved it. Credentials apply. Users. Yeah, it is done. Okay. Go to the data source. It is done. SSRS training, EMP address, it is pointing down 1. Okay, 1 I am able to run this because I am passing the credentials. Okay. Oh, login failed for the user Bhaskar Baddam's Bhaskar. Yeah, cannot create a connection. Yeah, that is because I think I need to, normally the thing what happens is that in the SQL server, between the SSRS and our database, you need to create a Kerberos settings. There is a called Kerberos security access. You need to create some security between the two, because report server is a one part and the database is one part. So between them, whenever you want to access both, like if you want to assume both as a single part, you need to create some Kerberos settings. That's the thing. So because of that, I am unable to get that. So if I have set it, I don't know how to set. Basically, the DBS, they will be doing that. So okay. So because it is not there, so that's the issue. I am unable to do that. Previously I got it right. When I kept 1, I got the output. So now even after giving my user ID and password, I am unable to get it. But still the database add that user ID and password, right? Because see, the database has the user ID and password, and I am the administrator. So I am able to access that, right? But here in the report, even though I have permissions, I can't do, because you should create some security between the report and the server. Then only you will be able to do that. Okay. So that is the one more thing I thought of saying. So whenever you want to create on the report server, sorry, if you want to create on the EMP address, like if you want to create a snapshot, you should have because that EMP address has some data sources. So that data source, you need to have a user ID and password. Then only you will be able to create a report snapshot. This one you need to remember. Okay. And one more thing I would like to say is that, so the EMP address, right? Click on this, go to the manage. Here when I click on the data source, I am using the data source from the test. Instead of that, I can create my own string and I can keep it here. The string means, how can I create a string is that, click on the data sources, I think somewhere, right, EMP address or something, this charts, I think yeah, for the charts I have my own data source. Just I will copy this. Instead of the shared data source, you can create your own data source. That is the one more thing you can do. Okay. So this is my report done. I can create my own. Instead of giving the shared, I just create my own connection I have given. That's it. Click apply. Done. So now when I go to the that again EMP address, so it will run, and now I'll it's asking the user ID and password here. Its user ID and password is something, because I have created multiple security settings on this, so that might be the issue. It is asking me that user ID and password. Control C, go to here, Control V, done. See, now I am able to log in, but previously when I given the same password, it showed the error, right? See, oh, connection to the data source test. Yeah, it is having the same issue. Okay. So like that, you need, because I don't have connections between my report server and the database, so that's why it is showing. But normally when you run this EMP, okay, it is also showing the same thing. When I run something like dynamic, then I will be having, see, it is something like, because this CID, it is what is the report, it is a dynamic, right. You can see in the report server, in the dynamic, it is using its own data source. So, when I click on the dynamic, so see, it is not using shared, it is using its own. By default, since we are logged it, we have created this at that time, it is using that credentials. Whatever the thing we did at that time, it is using that credentials. That is why for this one you are not getting the error, but for the other stuff you are getting the error, because it is like something like for the EMP address, it will ask my user ID and password. Even though we give, it will say that okay, the test database does not have that required access for you to get into the test database. Okay. So, like you need to just play around with that, use a custom data source. I can give Windows integrated security, apply. Let us try this way. I will just go to the EMP address, yeah, 1, because I have given Windows, that might be the reason. Yeah, see, when I given the Windows integrated security, see the same EMP address, I am getting the output. Okay. So, just play around with that. I think once you play once or twice on different reports by changing the security, and that way then you will be getting that. Okay. Same with the EMP, like that you can play around with them. So, we are good with the almost we are done with everything on the report browser. There is nothing left here, and when you click here, go to the manage. This is a data source. The same thing, you might have the parameter, you might have the, because see one more thing, SSRS training. In the basics, when I click the basic and when I select the manage, I am not getting any data source and data sets, because that basic does not have any data source, right. So, that is why I am unable to see, but the EMP address as the data source, it has a data sets. So, because of that I can see the data source for the EMP address here, because since the EMP address report as a data source, so that is why I can see it here. But for the basic, I do not have any data source. So, because of that I could not see them. See the parameters, because that EMP address is having the parameter, right. When I run the EMP address, you can see a parameter here, the parameter EMP ID, the same parameter you can see here also, EMP ID. See, you can give default value at the report level. One more thing is that you can give the default value at the report level, like this here. Click on the EMP ID, go to the default value, specify value, I can add one value, I can give one value. This is the one way you can do. So, whenever I run the report, because I already got the default as 1, so automatically the report will run for 1. But on the report level also you can give just as default, and you can give the default value 1 and apply. So, automatically when I run the report, it will not ask me to enter 1, see automatically it ran for 1. This is one way you can give parameters to the reports at the report level. By default, you can give you can pass values to the parameters during the runtime, or at the report level itself you can give. This is the one way you can give the default parameters. You can give prompt user, you can hide this one. When you run the EMP address, you can't see anything here. See automatically, okay, EMP address. I think I didn't apply that one. I think so. Click on the EMP address. Click on the manage. Click on the parameters. Yeah, I didn't apply that. Hide and apply. I should click on apply. When I click on apply, see, when I run the EMP address, you can't see anything, that parameter name itself. See, you can do that hide and this all at the report level also. See, I can see the EMP ID, right. You can do it here. Click on the EMP ID. You can do it here, something like hidden. Click OK. So, when I run, I will not be getting that. The same thing you can do at the report level also. Okay, that is the one thing. And the one more thing with this is that in the SQL Server, you will be having the report builder. So, if the users want to develop some reports, so how they are going to develop, because you didn't install the reporting services on their machine. So, how they are going to do? Just there is one report builder which is embedded with this report. See, the report builder is embedded with this browser. So, when I click in, it is a free tool. When you install SQL Server, automatically you will be getting the report builder. I am clicking run. So, automatically a report builder will be installed on this machine. Report builder is nothing but it is a same as SSRS, but you will be having only less features here on the report builder. If the user wants to build some ad hoc report, so basically ad hoc report is nothing but if you want to build the report immediately for that time only, it be without it's not a complex report. If you want to build a simple sample report for that immediate use, then you create a report, right, with not much features and anything. If you want to create a report, simple report, that is nothing but an ad hoc report. So if the users want to develop the ad hoc report, because they will not be having the SSRS installed, SQL Server reporting services or the SQL Server data tools will not be installed on the machine, right. So that's why you can't see them. Okay. See. So when I have the report builder, automatically I will be getting here, see, parameters, I got it here, images, data sources and data sets. See, insert. When I click the insert, I will get whatever thing I want. I can add the text box here, see. I'll add the text box. I got the text box here. I will name it as welcome. So if I want to run this welcome, previously there we use a preview, right. Now I can use run. When I use the run, I will get the output here as a welcome. See, it is running. See, I got the welcome here. See, okay. This is the report builder. The users are going to use this. I will just click cancel. I will go to the design. I will get the report. So I can save the report also. When I click the save, see, now when I click the save button, I can save this report directly to my report server. See, I can save this report directly to the report server under the SSRS training folder. I will save it. See, and when I click close, automatically I got one report here somewhere. I think I need to refresh it. See, you got the untitled. Click on this. See, you got that one, right. So this is the other way to develop the report. So normally the report builder, because the users will not have any SSR or anything installed, right. So they will just go to the browser, click on the report builder, they will get the report. So automatically whatever the same thing, see, in the SSRS you got this all stuff, right. You got report parameters, images, data source, data sets, preview, design, you got all the things. When I right click, I will be getting option called insert and that all stuff. See, in the report when I click, I will get all the text box, all insert options. But in the report builder, where you will be getting that options, this is my report builder I got. So it is a report wizard, I can close it, I can add it here also. But when I right click here, I will be getting insert option here, or else I will be getting insert option at the top. That is the one more thing. But when I run, I will not be having any preview here. So just I need to run the report, and I can save the report. When I click save, automatically it will be saved to the browser. See, there is no need for me to again deploy it. Automatically you can save to that report browser itself. Okay. Or else if you want somewhere, you can see, when I give this, these are the two report browsers that I have on my machine. If I want to save on the desktop also, I can save anywhere, I can save. But I can also save the report on the browser by using when I use a report builder, I can save the report on the browser directly. But in the report server, you can't save that report to the browser directly, right. You need to deploy it. There is a difference between that. It is nothing but it is easy to use for the end users. Okay. So it's simple, and for this also you need to train them, and it is a free tool. When you install the SSRS, automatically you can get it. So it is a report builder 3.0, the current version we are using. Okay. So this is the thing with the report builder. So that's it, we are almost done with everything. The other thing we got is that what is a dashboard kind of reporting, and what is a linked report, what is a drill down report, what is drill through or linked report, both are kind of same. What is a drill down report, that all things we are going to see in the next class. Okay. So we are done. I am just closing this, stop.